Hey you guys, it is me, Laura, and I'm here to talk about what we did for our third grader this past year and what we're going to be doing with him for fourth grade next year. So we have done so many changes this year. We started kind of with what had been working before, then just a little bit into the year, we decided to go full force with BJU Press, and some of that worked. Some of that worked for a while and then didn't work. So my experience with BJU Press, we had him doing spelling and English and math and handwriting with BJU Press. So the spelling did not last long. It's a very list-based spelling, and so we switched over from that. We didn't use it long at all and went to all about spelling. This has been working great. We're going to continue to do that. We're in level 2. Excuse me. We're in level 2 at this point, and we're going to keep moving forward with this program, just taking it at his pace. I think that's the most important thing. When we find that there are things that need to be reviewed, we'll slow down, review them again, work through them, and this is working really well. We have the tiles. We had tried to use all about reading with him when he was younger to teach him reading, but the manipulating the tiles and keeping track of all of that spatially was just not his jam. It was not working. It was causing lots of frustration. So we moved to a different program. Since then, they have created an app with the tiles, which works perfectly for him. So we're using this for spelling, and it is going super, super well. So we did the spelling for BJU Press. We also have been doing handwriting for BJU Press. And the thing that was great about this is that he loved the videos. And so he hates handwriting, absolutely hates any physical writing at all. And so we, what was happening was the videos were encouraging enough to get him started in this. And he has done pretty well. The cursive is still kind of hard. He's almost done with this, not quite this year. But I think going forward next year, because of some of the other choices that we have made, which you'll see a little bit later, there's a little bit more writing in them. And I think we're actually going to ditch handwriting as a separate subject. Now, if I change my mind, that'd be great. You know, it's something that's easy to add back in if we need to. But once he finishes this book, I think I'm taking handwriting out of his rotation, and we will just focus on his handwriting in more of his regular subjects. So that's kind of what's going on here. For him, like some people say, handwriting with the video lessons is expensive, and it is expensive, but for him, it was what he needed to get motivated to do it. And it would be something that I would consider again. But I think trying to cut back on the time that he's doing work is actually worth it. So it's better to have him just do small snippets of handwriting every day and not have to watch a 10 or 15 minute video to add to more school time, if that makes sense. So BJU Press handwriting was really good. I'm glad we did it this year. We won't be continuing it. We probably won't be doing handwriting at all. And if we do, I'll just cross that bridge when I get there. Another thing we were doing at BJU was BJU Math. So he had been doing, let me grab his right here. He's in the middle of working on it. He's actually out with his dad, but he took a break. So this is what he had started the year doing. Actually, he had started it in 2nd grade. But then what happened was he had been really advanced in math, but then he was getting to where the concepts were a little more than he was ready for. It wasn't quite working. So we went to, this is the level 3 from Masterbooks. And so we went to level 3 with BJU Press, and he really liked it. Again, he learns very well with video. He's like me. He'll pick stuff up on video a lot quicker than if he's reading it or being read to or other things. And so it was working really well, but then it got to the point where it was just too much and he was bored. He was listening to the video at a higher speed, but it was still just too much, way too much. So we decided to go back to Masterbooks where he had stopped, and it's been great. So I think he just really needed more time to be ready to tackle some of the content that he was facing. He just wasn't quite ready for it yet, and I think that's what it was. We also did some experimenting in that time where I was letting him do math through things like Adventure Academy, through games and online stuff. And I think he just really needed that space to kind of catch himself up, because he had gotten ahead and then it was just kind of, he hit this wall. So, you know, that's totally fine. If you guys find that your child needs a break in math or needs to just brush up on some skills or do whatever, or any subject, that's fine. Just take it at their pace. So now he's doing that, and he is on course to move to level 4 math from Masterbooks, Math Lessons for a Living Education. We're excited about this. He's excited about this. This program just works well. I like it because it's kind of a minimalistic approach, but I like that in curriculum in general because it's so easy for me to add on. If we need to slow down again, like we did, if we need to play games, if we need to bring in books, if I need to try and find the pieces on Adventure Academy that talk about this stuff or give him place to practice this stuff, or videos on YouTube, or whatever I need to find, I can do that, but I don't have to do them. And he's someone who does not like skipping things. He doesn't like, if there's a video that's involved, he wants to watch it. And anyway, it can take a really long time and then he gets frustrated. So I really love this approach. And this is just like all the other Masterbooks. It's got Charlie and Charlotte, the story at the beginning, and now Natty and Hario have joined them. And then you've got your work, your daily work here. It's going to be split up, and it's a different amount each day depending on how difficult the subjects are or whatever, but it's got 5 days, and we do a 4-day week, so we just go through it in order. And oh, sorry, I thought I heard someone pulling up. And that works well for us. So that is his math. That's what we did. So I don't really have much to show you. I can show you my other one. So English is another one that has been a little bit of a challenge. So writing, grammar, and I mean, that's mostly writing and grammar for English. What do I do? So we had been doing BJU Press, which is a very traditional approach. It's you have one lesson or one chapter unit on grammar-based concept, and then one unit on a writing-based concept. It reminds me very much of what I did in school. That has been Samuel's favorite subject because of the video component. He really, really enjoys that video component. I felt that the writing sections were weak, and his writing is really struggling. It talks about the writing process a lot, but there's a lot missing as far as, for him, it's a challenge for him to get his thoughts from his head to the paper and formulate and work all that together. So I really want to step back and work with him a little bit more. And we're going to mostly be doing the writing and those kinds of things based on what he needs to work on through our loop subjects. So through doing the worksheets and writing and answering the questions for science and history and geography, and some of what he's doing there, like his workbook or his travel log for geography, and his scientific worksheets and questionnaires that he's filling out. And I think for him, that's going to be a much better avenue to work on those topics for right now. So that's what we're doing for now. I'm not going to do a specific writing curriculum unless we're still having issues with those, with the skills that he's trying to build. So, you know, that's not really an issue anymore. And I feel like for him, English takes forever, and I don't feel like he's retaining a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it's easy. He reads a lot of books, has a lot of audiobooks read to him. He's surrounded by language. He's always been, even from a baby, he's been very quick at picking up on the English language and the mechanics. And so I wasn't going to make him switch, but I finally convinced him to when we looked at his level. This is my other son's, but we're going to switch over to Language Lessons for a Living Education for him. And we had tried language lessons before, but I don't think he was ready for it when we were doing it. And this is where there's going to be a lot of writing. This is where he's going to get his handwriting in and a lot of other stuff. So the way this is set up, and I don't have his book yet, it should be here this week, but I'll show you a little bit. This is, keep in mind, this is level 2. So the first day of the week, it will have something like this where he can read a story, and it's either going to be a story that's about Micah and Claire, or it will be a picture study, or it will be a study of a psalm. And it'll have some basic questions for him to answer. And then on the back sheet of that will be some kind of grammar review. So this is something that he should already know, things that we've already talked about, just a review day. And then on days 2 and 3, they'll talk about writing topics like grammar, punctuation. I mean, that's a lot of what's in this area, but that are on his grade level. So those kinds of mechanics, the basic nuts and bolts. And so I will have him do those 3 days. Now, this is a 5-day program. So my plan is generally to have him do those 3 days, and then on the 4th day, he will do reading eggs. They have a program for older kids that focuses on reading comprehension, vocabulary, grammar, things like that. That's what we'll do on the 4th day. Now, occasionally, I will pull in an activity from day 4 or 5 for him, but that won't be regular. So in his book, day 4, I believe, is reading a Bible story from a companion book and doing some dictation and drawing a picture. And that for him is just not going to be something that I can really see him benefiting from. So we're just going to skip that pretty much entirely. And then on day 5, they have spelling. So we're already doing all about spelling, so there's no need for us to use that as our spelling curriculum, but there are assignments that I feel like will be good for him to do, just not as a spelling assignment, but as a writing activity every once in a while that I will pull in for him. So for example, again, this is level 2, so think about this on a level 4 level, but write a sentence using 1 or more of your spelling words. Be sure to start your sentences with capital and with punctuation. Of course, this is, like I said, a level 2, and he'll be on level 4, but they'll have things in like use all of your spelling words in sentences and things like that. And I think that those activities could be really beneficial for him. So I'll pull in a few of those, but for the most part, just be using those first 3 days of language lessons for a living education along with reading eggs. And I feel like that will be really good for his language arts. Now, the other thing that we do for language arts is his actual reading. He's able to read independently, so I don't do any specific reading instruction. I just want him to read a lot. So we have started this year, which is going to carry over, which I'm super excited about. This is his reading challenge. So I have this grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 36 little boxes here. And each box is a topic. So like an illustrated classic, a bestseller, a book published this year, a book about a girl, a book that takes place in Africa. So I have all those general things. So they're ideas to spark a book interest. Now he picks the books that he wants to read, but through the course of the year, he's supposed to fill in this whole chart, mark them all off. Now he can have one book can mark off up to 3 places. So like, for example, he read The Great Mouse Detective, Basil of Baker Street. That was a book about an animal, that was a mystery, and it was also a book that was made into a movie. So the more he reads and the more he fills up this chart, the harder time he's going to be having marking off more than 1 per book. But that gives him a boost at the beginning of, oh, I can do this. This is totally doable. So this is what we do. Once this is all filled up, he is going to get an ice cream party that he gets to invite one of his friends to. So that's going to be really fun. I have created a list on Amazon, like a wish list that we just sit down and look at together with ideas that go with these. So if he's having a hard time filling in one of the spots, we can look there, or if he needs ideas because he doesn't know what he wants to read next, it's just a place to kind of jump off and give him a start there. This has been working really, really well. The book that he's on currently, he has picked Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nem, and the format of it makes it feel like it's a little bit harder than books that he's read, and the chapters are a little bit longer than he's used to, but he's interested in the story. So when we hit books like that, I am reading the book too, and I try and stay a chapter or 2 ahead of him so that I can give him teasers and encourage him, and so that we can talk about the book along the way, and so that gives him the motivation to keep going. So that is what we are doing for reading. We're going to just keep working our way through this list. If he gets through this list before the year's over, I'll make him another one. We'll have an ice cream party and I'll make him another one. So that's kind of what we're doing for handwriting. And I think that is, I mean, for reading, and that's pretty much it. Now, usually for this, I say that he has to, depending on the book, and the length of the chapters, like a chapter a day, I'll tell him a minimum that he has to read, but usually he's perfectly happy reading more than that, and oftentimes he'll finish a book in a day or two, and if he does that, I'll give him a few days off of reading where he doesn't have to read, just as kind of an encouragement and motivator for him. And that is pretty much it. That is what we are doing. That is what we did for fourth grade, what we're doing for what we did for third grade and what we're doing for fourth grade. And I will try to leave links below. I'm having a hard time with internet as we're in transition between houses and moving and all of that. So if there are questions you have or things that you want links for that I haven't linked to yet, feel free to leave those below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.